Hello and welcome back to Choice Bits of Bliss. Today's video is all about 30 days of sketches with Christy's Beautiful Life. This is series 9. This lady has been rocking it for a while. And if you have not requested to join her Facebook group, 30 Days of Sketches with Christy's Beautiful Life, it is worth your while. There are so many active members who are posting daily their layouts, their inspiration, the links to their Instagram accounts and to their YouTube channels. This is a thriving community full of inspiration, I cannot stress that enough. It is so vibrant and alive with activity. It is just great. So first I want to say thank you to Christy for allowing me to join and play this time. She is super generous and giving and just allows anyone who wants to play along. This scrapbooking community is so incredibly amazing. I just can't say it enough. So what you see in front of you, and I need to add a little more glue, it looks like, on that end. This is the first layout. This is March 1st. So what I'm going to do, instead of posting a daily layout, because I just don't have the privilege of that kind of time to make a daily video, I will be doing a weekly, what's a good word? There's a word for it. I know the dictionary has one, but I can't think of it at the moment. A weekly recap. We're going to go with recap. So that's what I'm going to post. Each week on Saturday, I'm going to post a recap of the sketches for that week and my layouts. Except for the last week. I will be posting that video on the last day of the series, which is going to be March the 30th. Yes. So I will post on my last series of layouts on March the 30th. Now, we've got that out of the way. I'm going to slide up here in this corner what the actual sketch is, and then we'll talk about my layout. So I followed the layout fairly close to the design, except for I added, instead of letting white space lead the way on this side, I put something there. These photos are of one morning. I woke up early and decided to come upstairs and start playing before my husband woke up. And I glanced up and saw the reflection of the sunrise on this knee wall here above the radiator. And I just jumped up, grabbed my phone, and went over to take a picture of what I could get of the sunrise. And it was just beginning to come up over the trees in our backyard. So this house is very different to my house in Alabama. It's actually the exact opposite. My backyard faces east, and the back of my house is facing east. And in Alabama, the front of my house faced east. So I forget sometimes to look for the sunrise, but there it was that morning. I was crafting and got surprised by the sunrise. It was just a moment that I wanted to capture. So our layout 2 is a kind of stacked photos in 2 columns, and I just did 2 photos long in the 2 kind of wonky columns, and I used I kind of retrofitted this frame, because this frame had a piece going across here so that it could show 2 photos, and I cut that piece out so that I could show this 1 photo. So I was doing laundry downstairs in the basement. That's where my laundry room is. And I started coming up, coming up the stairs, and all I could see were these 2 ears just standing there. Kayla was just standing there waiting on me. So of course, I have my phone on me most times, and I just whipped out my phone and came up a couple of more steps so that I could get, her eyes. And then I took another photo of her face, and she was just standing there patiently waiting. She had had enough of being outside and playing, and she was ready to come back in the house. So I did the title, "I'll Be Watching You," because I think that's hilarious. This dog is our entertainment. I don't know what we would do with our evenings and our time without her, because she's so funny. March 3rd. This sketch has a back piece that is layered with a shifted base. So I did that, and y'all know I'm not a wild and crazy girl. So I didn't shift mine quite as much. It is a little bit, but not as much. And then it has this grouping down here in the bottom right corner. And I had 2 photos instead of, like, if I'd had this 1 4x4 photo, that would have been fine. But I had 2 that I wanted to show, and so my layout, it looks a little bit different from the sketch in that regard. So these photos are just when my husband finally our garden tractor has the attachment, the snowblower attachment. So he wasn't real eager to get into the snowblowing business, and he left the mowing deck on when we had the really big snow around January the 17th or 18th. I can't remember. It was no longer an option. We'd had a couple of, several little light snows that, it snowed and then it melted, and so it wasn't a big deal. But we got 25 inches in January. So it was no longer an option to not take care of the snow in the driveway. So he had to change over the attachment and take care of our yard. On March the 4th, we have this sketch. Is the main feature are the 2 big circles, and then it has this banner. And once again, I followed that fairly closely. I cut a circle with my Creative Memories circle cutting system, and then I used a doily. I love this peach doily, and I would love to have more of them, but it came in a kit and I only had 2. It came from something from Felicity Jane. And I would love to have more of that color. But anyway, that's beside the point. So I followed the sketch relatively close. This photo is about this old antique cubby shelving. I saw it on Facebook Marketplace, and they had a price on there, and I contacted them, asked them if they would take a lower price. They agreed, and I told my husband, let's go get it, because in my brain I was thinking, scrapbooking, this would hold so much stuff that is scrapbooking related. And once we got there and my husband started looking at it, it was clearly perfect for the garage. It was absolutely perfect for storing things in the garage. And each little cubby hole was smaller. They're about like 10 by 10 instead of the 13 by 13 that we enjoy. So once we went to pick it up, my husband found out the story behind why that couple was selling it. So the wife had bought it at an antique auction, I believe. I believe it was an auction. I can't remember perfectly, but I think that's what it was. And they didn't have a place for it. And they had held on to it for several years. Her husband said, if we don't find something to do with it by a certain amount of time, we're selling it. And she was reluctant, but she said, okay, fine. Well, they didn't find anything to do with it. And he put it on Facebook Marketplace. And I contacted him. The rest is history. It now resides in our garage. And we love it. We love it. Absolutely love it where it is. My husband has already got most of it filled up. This is today, March the 5th. And I followed, once again, I followed the sketch closely. I did out these little tear out spots and put patterned paper behind them. I did linear blocks of paper, little strips. I didn't space them out enough. I can see that. I could see it immediately. Because it all just kind of runs together. So even though they're different patterns, and I thought that was going to be differentiating enough, it really isn't. It just kind of makes one big block. And that's okay. That's not a big deal. It's just to note. I titled this one, Looking for Good Barbecue. You can see that title there. I die cut it out on my silhouette. I did 2 layers of white cardstock and then 1 layer of the patterned paper so that I could have some dimension on it, the title. And the journaling says, after a disappointing barbecue dinner, it became a mission to find some good barbecue. It was purely an accident, but we found some great brisket here. And this restaurant is about 40 minutes from where we live. And we were out shopping and happened upon it, decided to give it a chance, and it was really good. It turned out to be a really good meal. That is it for week 1. We've gotten in all 5 sketches. We'll come back next Saturday with those 7 sketches, and we'll talk some more. Once again, thank you to Christy of Christy's Beautiful Life for hosting this challenge. It has a lot of activity, and if you're in the mood for some inspiration, follow the links below to everyone who's posting videos. Thank you for watching my video and joining me in this challenge. We'll talk again soon. Bye-bye.